This week, Scotty Young goes Middle West. We pay tribute to Carlos Escuera and Conan versus the Marvel Universe. Check it out. It's Previews World Weekly, and it's happening right now. Filthy casuals and normies call it Hump Day, but around here it is Previews World Weekly, aka New Comic Book Day. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we're here every week to remind you guys to stop at a comic shop and get involved in what's happening in the world of comics.
So we're labeling this episode the Artist Edition of Previews World Weekly, and the reason we call it that is because, well, I look at the comments and people complain sometimes that you and I both talk more about the writers than the artists.
Sure.
So we're going to give the artists their due, and first of all, we're going to prove that we actually love artists by talking a little bit about our favorite artists. So I'm going to ask you first, what are two of your current favorites?
Dave McKean.
Okay,
I've
nice.
always loved his work.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, Sandman, obviously one of my faves, and his work on film and stuff too. I mean, him as an artist, I really enjoy. So.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman's go-to.
Yeah.
His main, and you like Sandman, so that makes a lot of sense. Okay. I'm going to say probably my #1 favorite, like time and time again, is Art Adams. He's known for a lot of things. He's really a Marvel artist now, but I discovered him probably in the late '80s. He's responsible for, if you ever seen Asgardian Storm from the X-Men,
sure,
he's responsible for that. He's one of the artists that, like,
cool.
He's the artist that created that character. Nice. He has a very manga-influenced style, but almost at a point from the days when it predated, like, he predates like the manga craze that currently is like in comics, you know. So he was doing it before everybody else. Always love Art Adams, you know. And he does a lot of cool stuff. So did you have another one on your list?
I was going to take it back to Jonan Vasquez.
Okay,
I mean, he's what got me into comics, and I still love his style. It's very fun. I like his use of angle and line. It's good stuff.
It's good stuff. Yeah. No, and then also a very unique artist as well. And so there's tons of cool comics coming out this week at your local comic shop, and you might find an artist that you love. So we're going to let Anna Mia take it away, and she's going to show us what's at comic shops this week.
What's up, Previews World? Anna Mia here, and I'm going to give you a look at some of the new titles in stores this week. Here's what's at comic shops. And we're just getting started. The world of comics has even more to offer, so stop at a comic shop already, and you might just find your new favorite thing. See ya.
So yeah, some cool stuff there, and as always, that's just a little bit of what we've got to offer. Anything you're looking forward to? I
am really, really excited for Green Lantern #1. It's Liam Sharp and Grant Morrison, and since it's the artist edition, we're going to talk a little bit more about Liam Sharp because I can talk about Grant Morrison forever. He's one of those guys who popped up in the '90s. He was following in the vein of those Image guys, but his style was also pretty unique, and then he disappeared for a while. Came back recently I want to say for me, the first time I'd seen him in a while was last year when he did Wonder Woman, Batman, Brave and the Bold. He has a very kind of like slightly dark, but also very detailed style. Cool. And he's doing this Green Lantern comic. I'm actually really looking forward to it. Yeah, I always look forward to seeing what artists do with Grant Morrison because he's a very imaginative writer. So when you have a good collaboration, like you can really see that play out when, like, you know, he works well with an artist. And everything I've heard already sounds good. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking at Blackbird #2.
Okay, nice.
So it's a book from Image Comics, and it's sort of a neo-noir fantasy. And honestly, I've been picking some stuff by their covers recently, but it's the art episode. So I mean, I was looking at this and I thought this was really cool looking. The cover is beautiful, a lot of bright colors, a lot of cool work there. And the plot of it's pretty cool too. girl who's convinced that a secret magic world ruled by some cabals lurks just beneath the surface,
as always,
of Los Angeles.
Oh,
of course, you know, it's you know, one city or the other. LA being one of the top 5 or whatever. And of course, everyone thinks she's nuts.
Of course,
but it turns out that she's correct.
Okay.
And she's sort of trying to unravel the mystery of this magic realm before you know it comes and gets her.
Okay, cool. And that's it's Jen Bartel, right?
Yep.
Yeah, who's like, she's a great cover artist, and I feel like this is like the first book she's done. You know, if I'm lying, you can tell me, but like, I think it's the first book she's done where she's done the interiors fully. So yeah, I'm actually very curious about it. And I think she's like, she's a great artist. Looks great.
Beautiful stuff.
One other thing I'm looking for this week is Marvel Knights, which is a 6-parter that they're doing to celebrate the anniversary of the Marvel Knights imprint.
Cool.
Marvel Knights was something that was started in the late 90s roughly by Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti. It was meant to be the darker version of the Marvel universe. Not quite full-on max adult, but like just darker.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, a lot of the characters you see now in the Netflix show were the Marvel Knights characters. So it was Daredevil and Luke Cage, and like, you know, Doctor Strange was in the mix in there, and a couple others. But yeah, definitely these like street level characters, and also some of the darker characters in the Marvel universe. And this line really did give birth to like what I consider Marvel's second renaissance, which is like the stuff that birthed the Ultimates and the Max line, all this other stuff. So this is an anniversary that really means something, and like, you know, really means something to me at least. And yeah, I'm looking forward to like this 6-part celebration. It's got Donny Cates on board, who's I'm also a big fan of. He did the Thanos book, and you know, it's more the celebration of it, but also seeing these characters return to form in like in a group outing almost. So I'm into it. I think it's really cool.
That's awesome.
What else are you looking forward to?
Death Orb.
Oh yeah.
This is a book from Dark Horse, and again, beautiful cover art on this thing, like gorgeous stuff. And this one is another post-apocalyptic, which you know, I hate those.
Just thinking ahead.
I am going to be well prepared.
Right.
If something goes down, I have so many.
Find Thea.
So many plans.
So many plans.
But yeah, post-apocalyptic America, and it's controlled by these roving marauders. And there's this main character named Ryder, and he's got to sort of brave the madness of the world to try and find his wife. And there's also this group of wastelanders that he joins up with, and their goal is to stop this guy who calls himself the Father. He's a scientist, and he's basically hell-bent on completing the apocalypse and wiping everything out. So, yeah.
He's a closer.
Yeah, he's the closer. He's there and he wants it all gone.
Okay, cool. I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, also out this week is Hotel Oblivion from Dark Horse Comics, and we've talked so much about Umbrella Academy at this point that I'm just going to leave it there. Also really cool for those of you who are interested. I'm not a big Doctor Who person. I don't really know that much about it, but Doctor Who is out this week, and it's the 13th Doctor from Titan Comics, where this is their series where they're focusing on the new Doctor Who. So if that is something you're into, you should check that out. And matter of fact, we're going to show you some preview pages from Doctor Who, the 13th Doctor, from Titan Comics, in news, which we're going to do right now.
So here are a few of the things we've been talking about over at PREVIEWSworld. First up, we have the Doctor Who sneak peek, a new series for a new era on the TARDIS from a creative team of astounding women, including Eisner-nominated writer Jodie Houser, art by Rachel Stott, and colors from Enrica Angelini. Experience mind-blowing challenges and dynamic adventures through time and space, right alongside the Doctor and her friends. The Doctor regenerates into her most thrilling incarnation yet, played by Jodie Whittaker, and traveling alongside 3 brand new companions. Commemorate this once-in-a-lifetime regeneration with 13 variant covers from a variety of astounding women comics artists. That's in stores today, so you guys can go pick that up, but if you want to see those really cool preview pieces, check it out on the website. Next up, we have Archie issue 700. This is a brand new era of Archie beginning in this landmark 700th issue of our flagship series. This is coming from a new creative team of writer Nick Spencer and artist Marguerite Sauvage. Take a trip to Riverdale and find Archie, Betty and Veronica, Jughead, and the rest of the town in for a wild ride, complete with new mysteries, new relationships, and much more. That's going to be in stores November 21st. Next up, just 5 months after his gift to the nation's library was revealed, Diamond Comic Distributors President and CEO Steve Geppi stood at the podium for the announcement that the Library of Congress will open a new display of select items from the Stephen A. Geppi collection of comics and graphic arts from November 6th through February 11th in the Great Hall of the historic Thomas Jefferson Building. So displayed at the press event were items from the exhibit, including original storyboards for Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse in Plain Crazy, Joe Simon's original concept drawing of Captain America, Don Levine's hand-sculpted G.I. Joe prototype, the 1933 Big Little Book Mickey Mouse, the Superman Crypto Ray Gun, and the Captain Marvel Club welcome letter. The move to the nation's capital, with the library's 1.8 million visitors per year, offered the chance to get many more people to see his pop culture treasures. Geppi said he hoped that the presence of his collection would help attract even more attendees. So if you're within striking distance or planning a trip to our nation's capital, check out the myriad of goodies available to you there. Next up, we have the Avatar sneak peek. If you were looking for more after witnessing the beauty and spectacle of James Cameron's Avatar on the silver screen, your time has come. We have a new series from Dark Horse Comics entitled Sute's Path, and it's going to unfold events that were previously only hinted at in the movie. It follows Sute, proud warrior of the Omitakaya clan and betrothed of Neytiri. He's at the center of a planet-shaking dilemma as his life has been turned upside down by the arrival of Jake Sully of the Sky People. So this has a variant cover available from Shay Standifer. And if you want to know more, here we go. Issue number 1 of Sute's Path is going to be available January 16th. Last but not least, we have Conan vs. Marvel. This January, Jason Aaron, Mahood Azrar, and Esad Rabik will bring Conan back to Marvel in the all-new series Conan the Barbarian #1. To celebrate Conan's triumphant return, Marvel is releasing a series of variant covers showcasing the sword-slashing hero facing off against some of Marvel's most important heroes and villains. Conan vs. Marvel Heroes will show up on the covers of 10 different titles, including Amazing Spider-Man, Avengers, Deadpool, and Uncanny X-Men, while the Conan vs. Marvel villains can be found on the covers of an additional 10 titles, such as Captain America, Immortal Hulk, Thor, and Venom. Don't miss your chance to collect all 20 variants starting this December as Marvel prepares to welcome Conan the Barbarian home.
I love that. I have one hang-up here. One hang-up is that it's a Thor cover featuring Conan without Thor. Like, you know, I mean, that's a battle you want to see.
Yeah.
Even if it's not in the real book itself, like, you want to see that on the cover. But the image of hell is cool. Greg Smallwood is the artist. He did Vampironica, great artist. Also, I just want to say, I'm going to commend you for knocking out like a bunch of like all those names and saying the Avatar James Cameron characters on top of it. Props to you, Thea.
Thanks.
And that's why you do that and I don't. You can discover all the new stuff on our website at PREVIEWSworld.com. Be sure to check it out. And now we're going to kick it over to the Previews World toy chest so you can find out what's in comic shops now on the toy side. Those are just some of the items available at your local comic shop this week. And as always, we're going to be giving away an item. Not available this week, but coming soon. What do we got this week, Thea?
This week we have a really cool Doctor Strange PVC diorama. We want you guys to let us know who your favorite Marvel comic artist is. Comment below, either Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching. We'll pick entrants until noon on Friday, and one of you guys could win this bad boy.
Yeah. And be sure to go to PREVIEWSworld.com/new releases to keep up to date on whatever toys, comics, pretty much everything that's hitting your local comic shop, such as Middle West, which is dropping November 21st. It's by Scotty Young, and we've got a trailer, so let's check that out right now.
Moon will wake in cold ground it shakes. Wash away fears we faced.
That is Middle West by Scotty Young and Jorge Corona. Scotty Young is normally known for like his art style from the Marvel Baby series, but here he's also writing Deadpool right now, so this isn't something foreign to him. And he did I Hate Fairyland, but he's one of those people instantly recognize his style, and people love his stuff. I mean, like across every type of fan base too, which is actually really cool. So now we're going to talk a little bit more about artists in the Social Swamp segment, and we're going to find out your 4 favorites, and we're going to share some of ours as well. So let's talk about it.
This past weekend, we put it to you guys on the internet and asked, what are your 4 favorite comic book artists? We got some good responses. Eduardo Escobar said that he loves Paul Pope, Brian Hitch, John Cassaday, and Frank Quitely.
He has good taste.
Yes, it's very true. Renee Aznodnem? Nope, Renee Aznodnem.
Maybe.
But they enjoy Fiona Staples, Jamie McKelvey, Brian Lee O'Malley, and the illustration team of Gurihiru. Holly Hawks said that she likes Paulina Ganesho, Babs Tarr, Jen Saint-Onge, and Jen Bartel. And then Mikey O'Leary has said that he loves McNiven, Pichelli, Staples, and Romita Jr.
Nice. Yeah, see, John Romita Jr. There you go. I love that. Like, that's a classic. He's one of those guys that's crossed like multiple generations as an artist. So like, it's always nice to see, you know, just people giving him his props. He's like, you know, he's done everything from X-Men in the '80s to Kick-Ass. So he's just one of those guys like multi-generational.
Knows what he's doing.
Part of a legacy, of course. So one of the blessings and curses of doing social media, which is one of the things I'm responsible for, is that you kind of get to see debates online, a lot of debates online, particularly in the comic book community. And a few months ago, there was this thing about like comic writers versus comic artists. And like, which is more important to the process. And I think we're both in agreement here, but I want to ask you, which is more important, comic artists or comic writers?
Both.
Yeah.
You can't have one without the other and make a comic. I mean, you have to have a good story, and you have to have a good artist, and you have to make sure that they work together. So you can tell a story, and you can have bad art, and then you're lost in the story. Like, it can be really distracting, so that none of it's enjoyable. And the point is, you have the whole team together, working together, so that you make a product that people are going to enjoy all the way through. Smooth reading, enjoying the art, enjoying the story, and you can't just
separate the two.
You can't just have them working in separate rooms and get a good product out of it, for sure.
Yeah, it's like it was such a I have to admit, it was a dumb debate. Like I remember seeing it popping up online. I don't know who started it. But it's just one of those things like people kept chiming in. I'm surprised like people were taking sides in it, because the most obvious thing is that it's a collaborative process, you know? And like, I'm sure we've all read books where those things are like, you know, not the artist and writer aren't synced up, and you can tell. I mentioned earlier Grant Morrison. You know, he's one of those guys, like he's an idea machine. And if you got an artist that can't keep up, it shows, you know? So yes, they're both very much necessary. It's a visual medium.
Absolutely.
Like, there you go. They have solved it for you. We're done. And on that note, I don't know, is there anything else you want to say about the artists and writers, or just artists in general for the Social Swamp segment? A lot of great people had a lot of nice responses.
I mean, yeah, people had really great responses. I mean, I agree with most of them.
Okay.
You know, they're definitely, I don't know, artists are all really great. I love artists.
Right.
So,
I mean, anybody's brave enough to be an artist and like, you know, to actually put themselves out there, they deserve applause. Like one other thing I'll point out is like, I remember it was like years ago, I was having a debate with somebody about like, what is art and what's not art. And I know that's the thing,
eternal.
Right? Yeah, right? That's the eternal debate. But for me, I'm like, if you take time to commit it to paper or screen or whatever, it's art. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's art. I don't care if it's like your 5-year-old or, you know,
doesn't matter.
Picasso. You know, it's art. And speaking of artists and great collaborations, one of the things you will hear the most often about Carlos Esquera is the fact that he is a great collaborator. And it's really unfortunate that like recently he passed away back in October. But he leaves behind a legacy of one of comics' greatest creations, Judge Dredd. So we took some time out, and Enemy is going to help us here, to pay tribute to Carlos Esquera and his career in comics. Check it out.
On October 1st, 2018, the comic industry lost one of its biggest artistic influences, Carlos Esquera. Known primarily for co-creating 2000 AD's Judge Dredd, Esquera is the 2000 AD equivalent of Jack Kirby to Marvel, or Siegel and Schuster to DC Comics. Despite the comparison, the artist wasn't big on superheroes, which might explain why American readers aren't as aware of him. He did make his home in the realm of science fiction, however. So let's take a look at 5 of his fan-favorite stories, all in celebration of the Spanish illustrator that took Britain by storm. Strontium Dog. One of Esquerra's artistic trademarks remains his detailed and imaginative approach to futuristic weapons. That's probably best on display in Strontium Dog. This spaghetti western, set in the 22nd century, is entertainingly bizarre and totally unhinged. Follow Strontium Dog Johnny Alpha as he lives, dies, and lives again, just so that he can collect the bounty on galactic crime lords, stone-cold killers, alien freedom fighters, and Adolf Hitler himself. Authority, the Magnificent Kevin. If you're familiar with the Authority, then you already know to expect in-your-face action with a superhero twist. In Authority, the Magnificent Kev, an unlucky would-be assassin must team up with the no-nonsense Authority once more. And if you're asking why you should care about former SAS operative Kevin, then this is the story to read. One of Carlos's rare runs with American superheroes. If you love Garth Ennis's The Boys, then you'll love this. Star Wars Mara Jade, by the Emperor's Hand. From Timothy Zahn and Carlos Esquerra comes a gem from the Star Wars Expanded Universe. Meet Mara Jade, a special agent for Emperor Palpatine, and the woman who will eventually marry Luke Skywalker. But here, Mara is still on the dark side. When Palpatine is vanquished during the events of Return of the Jedi, it puts her in conflict with the Emperor's successor. Now, Jade is an assassin with no objective, but you better believe she'll find one. Adventures in the Rifle Brigade. With Rifle Brigade, Ennis and Esquerra team up for an irreverent, cartoonishly violent take on an old World War II comic. At the center is a squad of buffoons who have deluded themselves into thinking that they can win the war by capturing Hitler's unmentionables. Judge Dredd, Apocalypse War. Finally, here's the story that no Judge Dredd fan should be without. Originally released in 1982, Apocalypse War starts in 2104 and pits the East Coast against the Soviets. The only catch is that Judge Joseph Dredd is the law in Mega City 1, and he's got the legal power to pass a death sentence anywhere that he and Judge Anderson see fit. One of the impressive things about Apocalypse War is Carlos Esquerra's art. He is known for being good, fast, and detailed, something that was undeniable when he produced roughly 6 pages a week for 6 months on the story. He was often considered a writer's artist for that reason, and his workmanship isn't something to be ignored. It's Dredd versus everyone in Apocalypse War, a comic event from the days when there was no such thing. For more on Esquerra, visit your local comic shop today, and keep an eye out for upcoming issues and collections from 2000 AD, paying homage to his seminal talent.
Thank you, Anna Mia, for helping us put that video together. One thing I wanted to point out is the Mara Jade Emperor's Handbook. It used to be available as a single trade, but now it's actually part of the Star Wars Legends Epic Collection, The New Republic, Volume 1. So if you are looking for that, you can pick it up at your local comic shop. It's available now. All those titles are actually available now and still in print. So yeah, shout out to Carlos Esquerra for being like being a fixture and a pioneer.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean? He created a very important character. He's a very well-loved character, and American readers should know more about him. So.
Very true.
And speaking of comic shops.
Yeah, so we are going back to the local comic shop shout out. So we want you guys out on the internet to let us know wherever you can find us, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Let us know who your favorite comic shop is. You've got a local comic shop you love. Let us know who they are. Use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS, and we could use you as a shout out on the show in the coming weeks.
Yep. And since this is the Artist Edition, we have to point out that pencilers are part of an artistic process in comics, and that process also involves inkers and colorists and letterers, who I consider all to be artists in their own right. And so we wanted to give you a look into the process of one inker. It's Joseph Silver, who's worked on Animal Man and a couple other books. He's going to be doing some stuff for Marvel soon as well. Joe was kind enough to accept the Jim Lee inking challenge like a few months back, and so he's inking Jim Lee's Superman from DC Comics. Check this out, and that's it for us.
Yeah.
This has been Previews World Weekly. I am Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we'll see you at the spinner rack.
Thanks for watching Previews World Weekly. If you like the show, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes.